In this video, we are going to take a look at quadratic equations. We're just going to go over the basics of what they are. So we're going to start by just looking at the different parts of a quadratic. So when we have a quadratic equation, it's written in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. There always needs to be a squared term, and there can't be anything larger than a squared term. So you can't have something like x cubed, or your shape is going to be different. The shape that it creates is called a parabola. So a parabola is just this U-shaped curve that you see below. So what are the different parts? The different parts of a quadratic, one of the most important parts is your vertex. Your vertex is just the highest or the lowest point. So where I put those dots. These vertexes are going to be either the maximum point or the minimum point. When we have a U-shaped curve that opens upwards, so it looks like a U, that is when we have a minimum point. There is no point smaller than that one. When we have one that opens upside down, that is when we have our maximum point. There is no point that is higher. And then we have something that's very similar to maximum point, but slightly different. It's called our maximum value. That is the greatest value, the number of our y. So our maximum value on the right-hand side will be 4, because there is no y value that is larger. And then same thing for minimum value. If we look at this graph, our minimum value is the lowest point, which is where y is equal to -2. From here, we want to look at our axis of symmetry. Our axis of symmetry is the axis that divides the parabola into two equal parts. So what you can do is you go from your vertex and you go straight up and down. And that line is your axis of symmetry. And then to write your equation for your axis of symmetry, what you want to do is it's whatever x value you're at the vertex. So our vertex is at -2, 4. So our axis of symmetry is x equals -2. On the left-hand side, our axis of symmetry is at x is equal to -3. Those are the big parts of our quadratic, just the parts. When we look at the solution of a quadratic, on the other hand, our solution is where our parabola crosses the x-axis. So we can just put dots there. And our solutions are x is equal to -4 and x is equal to 0. Same thing on the left. Our solution is where our parabola crosses the x-axis. So x is equal to, we'll say -1.5, and x is equal to -4.5. Those are all the big parts of our quadratic equation. Our solution, we can also call that the real root. So let's do a couple more examples, and then we'll be good to go. So when we talk about the solutions of equations, a lot of times we're asked how many solutions there are, and I just want to give you an example of each. So like before, in our previous slide, if we draw a parabola that crosses the axis 2 times, so at -4 and 2, our solutions are -4 and 2, and therefore there are 2 solutions. If, on the other hand, we have a parabola that has a vertex on the x-axis, like this one, there is 1 solution, because it only touches the x-axis once. And then sometimes we have a quadratic with 0 solutions. What this looks like is a parabola that never crosses the x-axis. And that's all we have to do to know our number of solutions. These are the main components of quadratic equations. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out down below, leave a comment, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Good luck.